Time to take your coding break. Hello, 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 and welcome back to the Coding Break podcast. I am your medical coding coach, Tam Talk, and also serving as your friendly coding break reminder. On today's episode, I want to go into the topic or delve into the topic of medical coding professional salaries. Now, the information that I'm sharing is just a glance or a glimpse into the salary ranges of medical coders. Again, these are certified medical coding professionals. And of course, the salaries will vary depending on one, the location, two, the role of the medical coder, and some other things, college education, college degrees, experiences, things of that nature. So we'll get into it. And of course, if you were to go on Google, you would put in, what's the medical coding salary range, and it's going to give it based on your location. So I am located in Texas, so Again, this is based upon Google and AI. The salary ranges for medical coding professionals, and of course, it's going to range from someone who's new to medical coding, as well as someone who may be a seasoned coding professional. And again, it's going to be based on your location, the role in which you are applying to. I'll say applying to pursue, but the role that you're currently hired for, your functioning or task, as well as the experience, and then if there's like college degrees, college education, and amongst other things. So again, based upon AI's response to my question for Texas, this is wow. Okay, so it says the salary ranges start from $14.72 to $36.35 per hour. Okay. I'm kind of hesitant on the $14.72 starting salary. That is like extremely low. That is extremely low. I would say, and this is just from my personal experience, I would say that maybe the starting salary is probably at $25 an hour, and that's someone maybe I take that back. Maybe $22 an hour for someone who's starting out. Again, someone without a college education or college degree. They're new to medical coding. I would say between 20. You know what? Let's scratch that. I'm going to say $20 an hour. It's probably the beginning or the entry level rate for a medical coder. Again, that's someone who's new to coding. They don't have any experience and they don't hold a college degree. So I would say $20. But again, according to Google, the starting salary is $14.72. And also we have to look at the role in which you're performing, or the role in which you were hired to do. So it could very well be $14.72, but I beg to differ. Okay. And then it says the highest is $36.35 per hour. And again, this is just on average. Again, these numbers could definitely be higher. I know that they are higher. And so, again, this is just an estimated guess by Google for the salary range. And I'm going to assume, we're just going to leave it at that. And so again, it goes on to further break down the actual city, and I won't disclose that because, but again, we're in Texas. And so this is the salary primarily for general medical coders. It says the average salary per year is like $50,250 per year. And this is according to the Bureau of Labor Statistics, or BLS. And it says the median range is $50,250 per year, or $24.16 per hour. Certified coders, they say they tend to earn more. So let me go back. So the salary range is someone who doesn't hold a coding credential. That is someone who just knows how to code. So then in that case, then that could actually be a good estimate on the $14.72 up to $36.35. But given the organization's requiring the certification, Yeah. So, of course, it would be more. But again, that range is based on someone who doesn't hold a certification. Again, like the statistics state that someone with a certification tends to earn more. And again, according to Google or as well as AI, it is suggested that they earn at least 8.5% more, or there is an 8.5% difference compared to non-certified coders. So, like I said, the rates are higher if you are certified. And so, for someone ask if the salary range for coders, or why should they become certified even though you can code without a certification. That's why, because you tend to earn more, you're able to negotiate for a higher salary if you hold or have the credentials. And again, your salary range is also based on experience and location. That's something that I mentioned previously. And of course, the higher up you are in your position, of course, your salary should increase as well. So according to Google, someone such as a coding director or manager can reach six figures. Like, they gave specific numbers like $122,000. And then you have some who may earn just $83,000 per year, respectively. So again, a coder has the capability, a credential coder has the capability to earn six figures per year. Okay, so there's that. And then the other factors affecting the salary. Again, the certification, like I said, you earn more when you're certified, if you can show proof that you are credentialed or you hold the certification. And of course, experience plays a part. And then education. Again, these are all things that I previously mentioned. And then specialties. We'll get into that. Of course, depending on the specialty that you're in as well, some specialties pay more than other specialties. For example, you have orthopedic, which is orthopedic surgery. They pay more. Anesthesiology, anesthesia. I would say the more complex the specialty is, the more money or your salary should increase based upon that, because you're coding more complex services and procedures. So, but the one that Google has listed here is orthopedic coding, which is one. I'm not going to say the most complex, but it is one of the more complicated or complex specialties to code. So again, the more complex the specialty is, the salary should be more. So again, Google listed orthopedic. I would even say cardiology, interventional radiology, anesthesia, anything that will requires more critical thinking than any other coding. And not to say that. Let me phrase that. Not to say that the other specialties aren't complicated. It just involves more when it comes to those particular specialties. So and then lastly, it lists the employer. So again, it depends on the organization or the employer. It depends on the role in which the coder is hired for. Is based upon the experiences, the years of experience, whether it's with a particular specialty or if you're specialized. It also could be the location. Its location could be the city as well as the state. And then if you hold credentials, if you're certified, if you're not, and then if you hold a college degree or if you're not. Like I mentioned, and you probably haven't seen that, but I did go live last week on TikTok, and I did share that there are coders who don't hold a credential, and then that's slim, very slim. How do they get their roles in coding? It depends. They may have been working there, and the organization may not require that they have a coding credential. They may know someone, or again, the organization may not require a coding credential, but I would recommend having one for the simple fact that just to increase in the salary, and then if you choose to go elsewhere or seek employment elsewhere, you'll have that credential, that certification on your resume, and So not only do you have the experience, but you have the actual paperwork or the documents to prove that you are a certified coder. You've taken the time to study and sit for the exam and pass it. So yeah, so that's my recommendation. So yeah, so again, the salary ranges varies. If you're certified, me personally, you should come in at least $20 an hour. No experience, no college degree, but you have your certification. And of course, if you don't have your certification, of course your starting salary is going to be a lot less, and it should be. It should be. As far as like what's the highest salary, it could probably even go higher than six figures, to be honest with you. But according to Google, and again, your role that you're holding, you can make up to six figures as a certified medical coding professional. So that's exciting. That's something to work towards, whether you want to be in leadership or some type of managerial or executive role, or if you want to go into a more complicated or specialized specialty. You can make your funds there, and then don't be afraid to evolve. And what I mean by that, like you have the internet, so again, if you want to go into content creation, you want to do some things, or you have your own unique way of doing coding or thinking or looking at coding, don't be afraid to share that information or to create other avenues of income based upon that information. Other words, don't be afraid to step outside the box to utilize your certification or your experience as well as your skills. I mean, yes, it seems daring and daunting and could be may seem tireless. You know what I'm trying to say. It could be exhausting. But honestly, it's not. Okay, you're the boss of your content. You're the boss of whatever it is that you decide to do, whether it be to get on YouTube or to get on TikTok or all these other platforms, or to have your own platform. It is rewarding because you're working towards something that I would say you own. It's your content, your intellectual property. It's all yours. Just make sure you, like I say, you're copywriting your content. Yeah, it's yours. You set the schedule. You're the boss. It's your thing. You can create the time frames to be consistent. How you choose to be consistent. Whether you show up every day, whether you show up every 10 days, whether you show up at all. Once a month. But I would say show up. Of course, show up. But you have total control over your content, your intellectual property, your way of thinking, how you do things when it comes to medical coding. So don't be afraid to step outside the box. Don't be the first to do something. If you don't see someone else doing something that you're doing, or doing a type of coding that you're doing and it works for you, don't be afraid to step out the box and start creating your content or creating your products or whatever to cater to your unique style and your way of niching in the medical coding industry. So that's all that I have for today's episode, as well as the coding break. But again, always remember to take your coding breaks. Take your coding breaks. So that's all that I have for this episode. So until the next time, code on.